Okay. Hello, everybody. We're back with another chapter of the book Money and the Law of Attraction. Hang on one second. I just want to adjust my camera here. Here we go. So, today we actually start talking about money. We've been talking about money all along, but the first part of the book is really about laying a firm foundation with respect to the law of attraction. And now that that foundation has been laid, we are actually going to dive into material that has to do directly with money. Okay, so I am on section or part 2 of the book. Hang on, let's see, how can I make it clear for you guys? We're this way. Attracting money and manifesting abundance. That's what this section is called. And page number is page 61 of the print version of the book, this version. All right. So, Abraham says, money is not absolutely essential to your experience. To most people, money and freedom are synonymous, and that is why money is so important. Money gives us freedom, the freedom to do what we want to do, the freedom to go where we want to go, and that is why money is so important. And you know what? At the end of the day, all of us want freedom. That is why we want to win the lottery. That is why we want things, because we think that money gives us joy, because it gives us the ability to put our finger on something and say, I want that, and then be able to bring it home. So that is the importance of money. And that is also the reason why we have such strong emotional responses to the subject of money, right? Money is a subject that makes people emotional. It has been said that it can affect relationships. It doesn't have to, but based on your belief system, it can affect relationships. Certainly, we've started putting the cart before the horse, in the sense that we have given money the importance that it now has in our society. Our economy, our industry is all revolving around the subject of money. So, let's keep moving. And then Abraham says that there are other ways to achieve the freedom that we want just as well. Money is not the only thing that makes us feel free. Basically, we have to feel free in our heads first, because freedom in your mind is true freedom. If you are imprisoned in your mind, it doesn't matter how much money you have, you are not free. People can live in huge big houses, drive the latest models of the most expensive car, and still feel that they don't have freedom. Because freedom is a feeling, it's not a thing. It's not a possession that you can obtain and then make yours. Money is a possession. Freedom is not a possession. And that is the difference. We can be free without having any money, but certainly money is something to be enjoyed. It is a possession that is to be enjoyed, just like a nice new sweater is to be enjoyed, just like making a new friend that you really, really like spending time with is to be enjoyed. Having money is to be enjoyed as well. And because we've linked everything in our society has a price tag, because we've linked everything and given it a price tag, that is what makes money so important in our lives. So Abraham says, whether you are one who has been working to achieve financial abundance for many years, or you are a youngster just starting down that path, the journey to financial well-being does not have to be a long one from where you are. And what that means is money can manifest really quickly in our lives. It does not have to take a long time, and it does not have to take a lot of hard work. It is like any other desire that we have for any other thing. It is equal in proportion to the desire for a glass of water. It is as easy to ask for and obtain a glass of water as it is to manifest the money that we desire. But when we are not free in our minds, then manifesting money becomes much harder. Okay. Now, there are some really important things in this chapter or this section that I want to bring forward and explain. Abraham says, with the basic premise, you get what you think about. I want to add to that because I think you get what you feel about. If you feel abundance, then you have abundance, and all your thoughts will be thoughts of abundance. But if you feel lack, then you will attract lack, and all your thoughts will be about lack. A recent example that comes to mind is the famous toilet paper wars, right? To me, when I look at that frenzy of people trying to hoard up on toilet paper and food, it's that feeling of lack of abundance. Lack means I will ask for it and I won't get it. So I need to hoard up on it now and make sure I don't run out. Whereas a feeling of abundance says, I can manifest whatever I want. Whatever I need will come to me easily. So we have to keep that in mind. And then Abraham goes on to say that the subject of money is really two subjects. Number one, money, plenty of money, the feeling of freedom and ease that plenty of money can provide. And number two, absence of money, not nearly enough money, the feeling of fear and disappointment that the thought of absence of money induces. And the way I like to explain this is when Abraham says money is actually two subjects, I like to put it on on this. Here is the lack of money, and on this side is the having of money. The stick represents the subject of money. So on this subject of money, you can be here or you can be here. But you cannot be in both places at the same time. And that is important to understand. So if I start thinking thoughts of abundance and bring myself here, that means that at that point in time, I am generating a vibration of abundance, and therefore I am not generating a feeling of lack. It's as simple as that. Two sides, two perspectives of the same thing. It's like when you look out of your window, if you have two windows, even if they are on the same wall and they look onto the same vista, your perspective looking through this window is not going to be the same as your perspective looking through this window. And maybe one of those windows will give you a better view than the other one. And that's what Abraham is talking about. It is about how we look at money, because we have a choice as to how we look at it. Okay, so moving along, Abraham says, often people assume that because they are speaking about the subject of money, that they are attracting money. So just because you are talking about the subject of money doesn't mean money is the stick. This whole stick represents money. So just because you're talking about money doesn't mean that you're always on the abundance side of the stick. In fact, you have to be careful which side of the stick your attention is on, because wherever focus goes, energy flows, right? Wherever attention goes, energy flows. And wherever energy flows, that becomes the magnet. So if your energy is flowing here, you're attracting more money. But if your energy is going here towards the lack of money, then you're attracting more lack of money. That's how simple it is. Okay? All right. So, Abraham says it is of value for you to become aware of how you are actually thinking and, more important, feeling about money. And I'll make it simple. How do you feel when you talk about money? Does it feel good? If it doesn't feel good, then that means you're over here on the lack side of the stick. So all you have to do is shift your attention from here slowly and bring it over here. That's all. And if you can't do it on the subject of money, do it on any other subject. And this is the mistake we all make. I think we've just been raised that way, that we think that if we want to improve something, then we should work on it, we should talk about it, we should think about it, we should look for different options. But law of attraction does not work that way. Law of attraction says if something's not working, get off the subject and get onto another subject that helps you generate the same feeling. So, what are the things in our life that are abundant? Well, I have an abundance of good friends. I have an abundance of wonderful people in my life. I have an abundance of blue sky right outside my window. I have an abundance of fresh air to breathe. I have an abundance of food. I have an abundance of love in my life. I have an abundance of books to read. All right. So as long as we're generating the vibration of abundance, abundance of all sorts is going to make its way to us. All right. I see a couple of people here live. If you guys have any question, feel free to post it in the comments and I will pick it up as I go along. Okay, moving along. So Abraham says the negative emotion that you feel as you acknowledge that you cannot afford something that you want is one way of understanding the balance of your thoughts, and the amount of abundance that you are actually experiencing is another way of knowing. Okay, so let me simplify that for you guys. There are only two ways of knowing whether or not we are on track towards the money that we want or the abundance that we want. And those two ways are, number one, how we feel. So, money can be a difficult topic for us. If money is a difficult topic, that means that we are sending money, the subject of money, negative vibration. And the other way that we know where we are headed is by the manifestation that is already showing up. When we manifest something, it is proof of our vibration. Okay, so one is pre-manifestational awareness and the other one is post-manifestational awareness. Pre-manifestation means it's a feeling that has not manifested yet. That means I can still do something about it. And now it's manifested. I've created that eventuality where I cannot pay my bill. I could have prevented it in the pre-manifestation phase, but now that it has manifested, I have to deal with this that has happened now while I do the vibrational work in order to change the next thing that will happen in my life. Okay? So when Abraham says that, we jump out of the aircraft at 10,000 feet, hi Moni, that is what they mean when they say that, is because once a manifestation takes place, you can't suck it back. You can't suck yourself back into the aircraft. You can't make that bill disappear once it's already manifested and you are in default. You can't suck that back. You have to deal with it. But that doesn't mean that you can't do the vibrational work to improve the next manifestation that will take place. Okay? So that is basically what they're saying over here in this example. So, if we feel the feeling of abundance with respect to the air we breathe, we are sending out a vibration of abundance. And that vibration of abundance is going to bring us abundance with respect to money. And this is what gets people's heads turned around when they're trying to understand law of attraction, is that you don't need to think about the subject that needs improvement in order to improve it. Let me say that again. You do not need to think about the subject that needs improvement in order to get an improvement. And once you start understanding that, oh my God, you have really turned a corner, and things are just going to start flowing into your experience like anything. Because that is the secret to creation. That is the secret to manifesting. Okay, so let's move along. Many people continue to perpetuate the experience of not enough in their lives simply because they do not think beyond the reality that they are experiencing. So, if I got that bill that I couldn't pay, and I thought about it, and then I told my friends about it, and then I worried about the fact that then I wouldn't be able to pay the next bill as well, now I am perpetuating the reality that has already taken place. And way back when I was going through a period of difficulty and I read this material and I listened to Abraham, every time my thought used to go towards the subject of money, I used to stop myself and pick something else to think about with discipline, with determination. Because Abraham said, if you don't think about money, then the resistance that you have towards money will not creep up and become a resistance, become the blockage in your path. And if you don't have any blockage on your path, then money can come. So I took that to heart, and trust me, I did that for a couple of weeks and everything in my life started to shift. And it was because I was not spending too much time thinking about money. Instead, I was spending my time thinking about the abundance I had in other aspects of my life. It's the abundance vibration that is the magnet that brings everything to us. And it doesn't matter which subject you pick in order to generate that vibration. The important thing is to generate the vibration. So, Abraham says, we want you to understand that if you continue to look at what is and speak of what is, you will not find the improvement that you desire. And this is so important, dear friends. This is so, so important. Because when we share our burden with people, when we worry about it night and day, when it keeps us up at night, by doing all those things, we are creating more negative experiences. If I know that I'm creating another negative experience, why would I do that? Right? If I already know that I'm going to have a negative experience, then it behooves me not to do that. Because I want to have a positive experience. So, now the next heading is called Lackful Action Doesn't Pay Off. And it is about Jerry. So in this section, Jerry is speaking and he's saying, many years ago, I owned a motel near El Paso, Texas. And H.L. Hunt, who at that time was one of the wealthiest men in the United States, called me. He had purchased Ojo Caliente, a small resort on the Rio Grande that was financially failing, and he had heard that I might have some useful information to help him turn it around. As we were visiting in my little coffee shop, I had a difficult time focusing on our conversation because I just couldn't understand why a man that wealthy would still be discontent and looking for a way of making more money. I wondered why he didn't just sell the place at whatever price and go on about his life enjoying the money he had already accumulated. So I have another friend who's in the multi-billionaire class. We were in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, walking on the beach, and he was talking about some business problems he was having. And it really struck me that a man so wealthy would have any kind of troubles. But what I've learned from you, Abraham, and I've learned a lot from you, is that our true success in life is not about how much money we have or about the having of things, right? And now Abraham is responding. So Abraham says the things that you have and the things that you do are all meant to enhance your state of being. In other words, it's all about how you feel, and how you feel is all about coming into alignment with who you really are. See, the thing is, contrast never goes away. Contrast. So, in this example, Jerry was describing the contrast that these people were feeling. So, contrast is an essential part of life, and contrast is what makes life so enjoyable because it gives us something to want. And when the thing that you want comes into your life, now you experience that joy. If you didn't have contrast, you wouldn't be asking for things and life would be really boring. So, even the rich multi-billionaires, they want more because being alive on this planet is all about wanting more. If you don't want more, if you don't want something different, if you don't want something new, then you become like a vegetable because life is passing you by and you're just not interested in anything. Contrast, wanting something, creates an interest in life. So, Abraham says if you will begin by identifying how you want to feel or be and let your inspiration to accumulate or to do come from that centered place, then not only will you maintain your balance, but you will now enjoy the things you gather and the things that you do. And that is so important to understand. I know this is very wordy, but basically, all Abraham is saying is go up the emotional scale and then everything will fall into place. That's going up the emotional scale is the only important thing. So Abraham says any action that is taken from a place of lack is always counterproductive and it always leads to more of a feeling of lack. Let me give you an example. So when uh, when someone goes out, let's say they are in a business and they want to make a sale. If they go out with the vibration, oh my God, if I don't make a sale today, I won't be able to do this, this, and this, then they are actually making things harder because that is a feeling of lack of abundance and there's a lot of attachment to what they want to accomplish. And that attachment to the outcome is precisely what keeps the outcome away because when you have that kind of attachment to the outcome, you are in a place of fear. And fear is not a good emotion. Fear is not high up on the emotional scale. Fear is low down on the emotional scale. If you're sending out the vibration of fear, you cannot attract abundance. And that's why if you spend your whole month thinking about the bill that you have to pay at the end of the month, then that's a vibration of fear that you're sending out. So here's how I want you to look at money. Look at money as if it was a person that you really enjoyed spending time with. You absolutely loved and adored this person called money. Now think about it. If you keep sending this person called money a negative vibration, meaning that every time you look at them, you become angry or you cover with fear, how long do you think that friendship will last? Do you think that person will want to come and see you? Do you think that person will want to come and spend time with you? Because if you're down in the dumps all the time, that friend is going to say, how can I cheer you up? Maybe I should come back another time, right? And that's what you need to understand. You push money away because you're actually sending money a negative vibration. You can't, if you're, imagine this. If somebody was throwing a tantrum all the time, if you always saw them throwing a tantrum, you never saw a happy side of them, would you want to go out with them? Would you want to be with them in the elevator? Would you want to share a car ride with them? Would you not think things like, oh my god, when is the next blow up going to happen, the next explosion? And you know what, I don't want to be at the receiving end of that. So you leave people alone. Those people who vibrate negatively, they don't make a lot of friends. Think about it. It's the happy person, the happy, cheerful person that everybody loves and adores. The happy, cheerful person is the one that makes the most friends. So, do you want to make friends with money? If you want to make friends with money, if you want money to spend time with you, if you want money to come into your life, then send money a happy vibration. It's as simple as that. Money is just like anything else in our lives, any other relationship. I think those are actually the words that I use in my book. Hang on one second. Just grabbing a copy of the book. So the book, The Prosperity Puzzle, is a book that I wrote after I learned to turn my life around using Abraham's principles, and it captures a lot of what I went through. So money is just an object like other objects in our life. We can like it or dislike it. For example, you can love your car or hate it. You have feelings about your car. Just like everything else in your life, when you love your car, chances are you find it pleasing. It does a good job for you. It is comfortable, reliable, gives you the image, etc. that you want. You have feelings about money too. You feel good about money when it flows easily into your life, and you don't feel good about money when you don't have enough, right? Okay, so your feelings about money define the relationship you have with it. Just like I explained, like any other relationship, this one keeps changing as well. There are times when it is good, and there are times when it's okay, and there are times when you wish it was better. So, our aim here is to improve our relationship with money. That's what we are here to do. And if you improve your relationship with one thing, everything else improves. Hi, Amber. Okay, so any questions, guys? If you have any questions, feel free to post them. Okay, so moving along. Neither money nor poverty makes joy. And then again, Jerry is talking, but I'm going to give you the abbreviated version. So Jerry says, Abraham, there's a saying that money doesn't make for happiness, basically. Money, so a lot of people have this belief money is the root of all evil, money gets in between relationships and things like that. And Abraham says, you are right. Money is not the path to happiness. And as you have observed, poverty certainly is not the path to happiness either, right? So absence of money is just can still create problems. It's not about the having or not having of money. It's about how you feel about money. So Abraham says, it is so important to remember that when you offer any action for the purpose of achieving happiness, you are truly going about it in a backward way. So that's what I was saying when I was talking about putting the cart before the horse, is that getting that thing is not what will make us happy. But when we are already happy and we get that thing that we want, it multiplies, magnifies that happiness. And that is what we want. That is the freedom. That's how money contributes to freedom. Most people give the majority of their attention to whatever is happening in their experience right now, which means that if the results please them, they feel good, but if the results do not please them, they feel bad. And we know that already. When you care about how you feel, and so you choose your thoughts on the basis of how you feel, then you develop patterns of thought that are more forward looking. And that's what law of attraction is all about. So remember, these are the words with which Abraham ends this section, and the words are struggle, struggle, struggle never leads to a happy ending. It defies law. When I get there, then I'll be happy is not a productive mindset, because unless you are happy, you cannot get there. Highlight that, underline that, remember that, have it tattooed on your arm. Because those are really important words. Unless you are happy, you cannot get there. When you decide first to be happy, and then you will get there like that. It's overnight, literally. So the next heading is called I Am Here as a Joyful Creator. Abraham is saying to us, you're not here as accumulators or regurgitators. You are here as creators. When you're looking towards an ending place, you exaggerate the feeling of lack, because where you are now and that ending place and that habit of thought can not only slow down the progress of your creation, but can hold it apart from you indefinitely. You are the attractor of your experience. As you look for positive aspects and make an effort to find good feeling thoughts, you will hold yourself in a place of positive attraction, and what you want will come faster. So, Monisha Abraham is asking this question: what if the relationship with money is not that of fear, but rather holding on to whatever little we may have so that not to lose it? If you're afraid of losing something, didn't I just use the word afraid? That's fear, right? Like a best friend you don't want to lose. Oh, Dev is asking the question. Well, you see, that is a vibration of lack, thinking that you will lose a friend. The vibration of having or abundance says, my friend and I can be apart for many years, but when we meet, it's as if we never left. See? That is what abundance is, and that is the way to treat a friendship, because otherwise it turns into neediness, and neediness is not a positive emotion. Lack, when you feel lack about anything at all, whether it's a friendship or money or anything else, it is a negative feeling. And the point in law of attraction is that everything affects everything else. So your lackful thoughts about a relationship can manifest as lack of money. And you know how they say that lack of money or financial problems are the biggest reason for divorce? Well, it is because people, when they start focusing on one thing being negative, so if they start focusing on money being negative in their lives or not enough, then it affects the relationship as well. And vice versa. It's about how you think about these things that creates the manifestation. Okay. So then Abraham says, sometimes people complain that it seems unfair that they have to become happy before things that bring more happiness can come to them. They believe that when they are unhappy, they need the happy events to come. But when they are already happy, then the happy events are unnecessary. And that's not true, because law of attraction says that when you ask, it is always given. And when you ask and you're happy, then it is given and it manifests right away. So let's read what Abraham says about it. Law of attraction: you have to find a way of feeling the essence of what you desire before the details of that desire can come to you. In other words, you have to begin to feel more prosperous before more prosperity can come. The universe never holds anything back from us. Never. When we ask, it is given in vibrational form. But in order for it to manifest, we need to get out of the way, which means that we need to stop providing resistance in the form of negative thinking. Okay, so this is really important. I'm going to read this paragraph because it really is extremely important. Often people tell us that they want more money, and when we ask them what their balance of thought is about money, they proclaim that they have a very positive attitude about money. But as we probe a bit deeper, asking them how they feel when they sit to pay their bills, they often then realize that while they may have been attempting to sound positive about the subject, they have actually been feeling a great deal of worry or even fear around the subject of money. In other words, often without realizing it, the majority of their thoughts about money have been on the not enough side of the subject rather than on the abundant side of the subject. And that is really important. I've encountered this so many times over and over again. People think that they are positive minded, but if they were positive minded, then they would manifest the things that they want. The fact that we are not manifesting the things that we want is evidence that we are not positive thinking. That's it. And you have to accept that rather than fight back and say, oh no, that's not true. I'm extremely positive. Law of attraction isn't working. No, that's not the case. Law of attraction is always working. You're not working it properly. And that can only translate into the fact that you are not vibrating the essence of what you want to accomplish. Okay. So then Abraham says, the power of vibrationally spending money. So this is something that I've actually done, this game that Abraham teaches us. And the game is we carry $100 with us all the time, and whenever we see something that catches our attention, we spend our $100 on it vibrationally or visually, in a visualization, not actually spend the 100, but just imagine that you are, and say to yourself, oh, with $100 I could probably buy 100 yellow pens. And when you say that, I mean, just look at me just now. It makes me smile to think, oh my God, I would buy 100 yellow pens. What would I even do with 100 yellow pens? But it's a fun thought. What it does is it takes me up the emotional scale. Not that I'm actually going to bring them home, but just thinking that way is such a fun way of thinking. And when you spend most of your time in a vibration of fun, guess what? You attract good things, and those good things include more money. And so that is this vibrational game. There is a lot more. There's a whole video about this process because Abraham teaches it in the book Ask and It Is Given. And there's a playlist on my channel. If you're interested, you can go there and look at it, because all the processes that Abraham has taught over the past number of years are contained in Ask and It Is Given. And I did a review in the same manner that we are doing it over here for this book. Okay, so what's this question? What if one is born into money and is always surrounded by money but does not have access to it? Well, the point about that, first of all, it's a fantastic question. If you're born within, surrounded by money, but you don't have access to that, can you imagine the contrast that is created because of it? And when you create that kind of contrast, that is huge. And if you did not have any resistance along the way, can you imagine how much you would manifest? Oh my God, you would manifest so much money. So the only thing that is preventing you from having money, see, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have that money. But the vibration of lack You noticing that it's right there, but you can't have it. It's like putting a dog in a cage and putting a freshly carved bone outside the cage. So the dog can see it, the dog is drooling over it, wants to get at it, but can't reach it. How much contrast is being created when that happens? And eventually, when the dog is able to get out of the cage, can you just imagine the joy that it would experience by grabbing that bone and gnawing on it, right? And it's the same thing with us. The When something isn't coming quickly, the joy of getting it expands. And sometimes you expand to a level where it doesn't matter to you anymore, right? Um, and that is the difference. It's hard, but you have to look away from it. So if you're born into money, doesn't make it your money. Your parents' job is just to give birth to you. It's not their job to share everything that they have with you. That is something that society teaches. But I'll tell you something, the deliciousness of doing it yourself, the deliciousness of saying, I did it on my own, I did not need you. That is so powerful and so awesome and so much more enjoyable. Um, so when I'll just tell you a little story about me. So when I was much younger and I was in college, university, a lot of my fellow class fellows would want to marry a millionaire, and I would think about them wanting to marry a millionaire, and my voice inside would say, yeah, but then I would be a slave to the millionaire, so I think I want to make my own million. I want to be the millionaire, right? Because it's so much more delicious to make your own, especially when someone says you can't. But we know that if other people can start from scratch and make huge wealth, create huge wealth, then we can do that too. We don't need them to give us theirs. We don't need them to share theirs with us. We can create our own. In fact, we can create a lot more than them. And that is exciting. And that is an aim worth having. Um, okay, so more comments. Yes, absolutely not their job to share, and I prefer to do it myself. That is my desire to be independent. How do I get out of the cage? You get out of the cage by not noticing anymore what they have. Because that comparison of they have this, so that's one of the things you do. Do not compare. Don't look at what they have. Don't look at spilt milk, so to say, in the sense that, oh, I wasted time, or I should have done this, I could have done this. No, it's not about the past. The past is gone. It's about generating a vibration of abundance. When you generate a vibration of abundance, then abundance shows up in many, many different ways. It doesn't have to show up in one way that you think it's going to come from. Sometimes abundance can show up in ways that you never thought were possible, and it can surprise you that your abundance came from there. So you just have to be absolutely, I know you never wanted to be a slave to a rich millionaire husband. I have a fear I will not be able to handle the money well after I make it. Bullshit. Sorry. Crap. No. How many people who have money actually manage it all themselves? They don't. Most of them don't. They find other people to manage it for them. And see, here's the thing. If you don't have trust that there are people that you can give your money to, that who will manage it and do a good job of it, where are you on the emotional scale? If you think that you will not be able to handle it, where are you on the emotional scale? See, all of those things are examples of beliefs that create resistance to the very thing that you want to bring into your life. And so when these thoughts come, because they will come, and they have come to me as well in the past, the thing is to do firmly is to stop and say, I know thinking this way hurts me. So I'm going to shift my attention to something else. What can I think about? Oh yes, here we go, beautiful yellow pen. I like this yellow pen. It is very yellow. I like the color yellow. I like the color of sunshine. I like whatever it is that you like, right? So you have to get off the subject of money, especially if you think that the subject of money actually feels bad. You have to stop and go to a different subject altogether. You don't even have to stay on the subject of money. In fact, Moni, the best way to make money come is to not think about money. When you don't think about money, only then can it come, because when you're not thinking about it, you're not looking at the obstacles on your way. And when you're not looking at the obstacles on your way, then the thing that you want can come to you more easily. Doubt. Yes, doubt is a very negative vibration. Doubt is what doubt means is, where's my thing? So doubt is, I go from one side to the other. I go here, then I go here, then I go here, then I go here. That is what doubt is. Doubt is, I want this, but I don't know how it will happen. But I still want it, but I don't know how it will happen. I want it, but I don't know how it will happen. See, the thing is, we don't have to ask this question, how will it happen? Because the how is not our job. The how is the job of the universe. You can't do the universe's job. It's not for you to do. It's impossible for you to do. The how will show up for you if you just trust the universe, trust source, trust that which you call God. Have trust that the how will show up. You cannot manufacture the how. It will just pop into your head one day, and you will go with it. With 110% of your energy, you will go behind it, and you'll get behind it, and you'll get it done. And that is what it's all about. Right? So the discipline in law of attraction is to get off that negative thought. Get off the subject of the negative thought. In fact, let me see. No, I don't have it here. But I have a book called Manifesting Mistakes. And in that book are 15 mistakes that people generally make on the subject of practicing law of attraction. Most people intellectually understand law of attraction, but most people find it hard to practice it effectively. That's why we are doing this work that we are doing. We are doing this work to make it easy to practice it. And I'm very happy. Thank you so much for asking practical questions. Because when you ask questions that have to do with your life and you get the answer that you need, that is what takes you a step further towards what you want. Okay, so any other questions at this point in time? Okay, so then this is an interesting topic that we are going into just now. Needing money won't attract it. people who need money the most have the most difficulty getting it. Have you noticed that? Yes, because I have. People who need money the most are the ones who have the most difficulty in getting it. Why? Why? Because they have too many obstacles on their path. They have too many obstacles on their path towards turning things around. And they tend to think about the obstacles more than they tend to think about the solutions. And they don't even know it. The reason they don't know it is because they are not paying attention to their thoughts, and they don't know the difference between a positive thought and a negative thought. Most of the time, when someone says, I need that, I must have that, I need that, there's an indication of lack in those words. I want that. You can have it if you want it, but if you need it, then that means I've put my happiness on hold. The word need says that my happiness or something is on hold because I need this in order to get that. So needing something or feeling neediness about money immediately is an alert bell that goes off, a danger bell that goes off that says, oh, should not be doing that. I should not be doing that because that is not the way for me to manifest more money. So, if you are using words like that, oh my God, what will happen if this happens? And you're creating those scenarios in your head. If I don't have money to pay for this, what will happen? What you're doing is a negative visualization. And every time you do that, you have to stop and say, all right, not going to do that because that is a negative visualization, and what I'm doing is I am sending energy to a place that I should not be sending it. So I'm going to stop now because I know what to do. See, and that knowing that difference is what makes everything change. That is the key. And those people who don't know that that is the key are the ones who are not able to turn things around in their lives. So just like people who are just used to poverty and they're born in poverty, some of them are able to turn it around. But some of them don't even try. And the same applies to everything. I remember Wayne Dyer. I used to love Wayne Dyer, first of all. Wayne Dyer was telling a story about someone. He just made this story up to explain a point. And the story was that there was a tribe, and in that tribe, everyone limped. And everyone limped because they just thought that that was the way to walk. And then one child came along and started walking without limping. And everyone thought that that child was strange because that child was not limping. So that child decided that he or she, I don't know the sex of the child, was not going to copy all the adults around them. See? And a lot of times what happens is, for some reason, either we become like the adults around us or we push back against them. And neither one of them is right or wrong. The only important thing is that if your behavior and your thinking is taking you further away from the things that you want, then don't you think you should do something about it? That's what it's all about, right? So the next section, I'm just going to abbreviate it. I'm just going to make it simpler than it is in the book. And what it is if you have, maybe I'll use my board for this one. Just think I like explaining things on the board. Okay. I hope everyone can see the board. So let's say you want this thing, but the strength of your desire, the depth of your desire is not that strong. So, and then you want another thing, and the depth of your desire for it is extremely strong. So this is the length of the line represents the depth of desire. Can you see that? Sorry. Here we go. Wait a second, I should adjust this a little bit. Which way should I adjust it? Here. Okay. Okay. Good. Yes. So this is the depth of desire. And this is the desire. So when you have a lot of depth of desire, but you also have a lot of, let's grab another pen. You also have a lot of negative beliefs along the way. These negative beliefs are blocking your path to getting to this desire. Here, so it is going to take a lot more time to get there. Here, you want something, it's right here, but you don't have a lot of beliefs intervening. Your desire is not that strong. You kind of sort of want it, but not all that much. But because there are no negative beliefs blocking it, you'll get this thing. And that is why we get all the parking places. We manifest all the parking places because the depth of our desire for the parking place is not as deep as the depth of our desire for more money. More money, we have a lot of different obstacles, beliefs along the way. And the depth of our desire is very high. Here, we kind of sort of want it. We don't have too many negative beliefs about it. It's going to happen right away. So that's what we need to be conscious of. Does that make sense? All right, so hang on. I'm just going to read some of these comments here. What if someone who borrowed money from you has genuine excuses when it's time to return it? For instance, the current market crash. Is that an obstacle that I am creating? Yes. Yes. You see, what you're doing is you're creating a belief system that is the only way for you to achieve what you want. And it's not the only way for you to achieve what you want. But if you keep thinking that that's the only way, then other ways cannot open up for you. That's all. What you have to put out there is, I want this and I'm open to wherever it comes from. It doesn't have to come from this person. Because the main thing I want is, I want this chunk of money. I don't care where it comes from. Stop caring where it comes from. When you stop caring where it comes from, only then can you make it come. But as long as you think that, okay, so I'm reminded of this example that I've used many times before. I had a dream once. I had a dream that I was in this room and there were a lot of doors going out of the room, but there was this one door. And I absolutely knew that there was a treasure, a pile of gold behind this door. So I pushed at it, I tugged at it, I tried to break it down. I did everything I could to get that door open. And then in the end, I gave up. I was so tired that I just sat with my back against the door. And then I noticed that there were so many other doors. So I said to myself, I'm going to take a peek at what's behind these other doors. And that's what I did. I went and I opened one of the doors and it opened easily. And when I went through the door, I found that I was in a corridor. And as I walked in the corridor, I realized that all the doors in the room opened into this corridor, and I had wasted so much time and energy wanting to go through that one door, whereas I could have gone into the corridor from any door and it would have taken me to the pile of gold that was actually in the corridor behind one of the doors. And that is what you're doing if you expect that the money that you need has to come through one individual who's borrowed money from you. Because it does not have to come from there. It can come from anywhere. And if you just leave it alone, because what's happening is now you're getting all these thoughts about this person. Oh, the timing, the market, the friendship, whatever other thoughts are coming, and they're all negative. And because all those thoughts are negative, they are creating more negativity in your life. All right, guys, that's it for now. Perfect timing. It's 8 o'clock, and my puppy is asking to go out. So I really have to close the call now. Um, so there's another question: how to overcome the thought there is an actual obstacle. You can't, if you can't, the easiest thing to do. So, overcoming it is the 4 step process that I teach in the book Thrive. But even easier than that is just take your mind off it. And, folks, I really need to go because my puppy is in distress. So, but it's perfect timing. It's 8 o'clock, so we're keeping our commitment. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will be here again on next Wednesday, and on Tuesdays I'm going to start an online meditation class because I can no longer do my my actual physical meditation class. So you'll hear about that. Take care in the meantime. Bye for now.